and Jason. We're in London to attend a BMC event, which is a British marketing collective. So it's a group of B2B agencies that get together once a month to share ideas, best practices. We're going to be talking with Ogilvy today to see what their plans are for 2017 and hopefully sharing some of the things that we're up to. Really try and make sure that everybody's, hopefully moving marketing forward next year. What do you think, Jack?
I think it's going to be brilliant. You can't come to London and not go to an event with other agencies to see what they're doing. It's kind of, collaboration and competitive intelligence at the same time.
So just back home from the BMC event, it was really insightful to see what other agencies around the UK are planning to do for 2017, and particularly what their main objectives are. What was a little bit disheartening was the lack of acceptance about the requirement for data. We live in a digital and social world. So much stuff is available to be measured today, and I do find it frustrating that, fellow agency owners sometimes shy away from the question of ROI. Sometimes they even just focus on completely the wrong measures. Let's take impressions for an example. So last weekend, and it really got me thinking, so last weekend I was in Birmingham. So Birmingham's done an amazing job renovating their shopping centre, and it's been done over phases. So they had a whole big market centre that was called the Bullring Market, and they've turned that into one amazing shopping experience. And they've just extended that into their railway station and called it Grand Central. So now they've got these two big buildings attached together, the Bullring and Grand Central. Over a weekend they get about 500,000 people turn up. So that's 500,000 shoppers that come in and they take a walk around, and I go with my family quite often. Now, if I went to go and talk to one of the owners of the shops, do you think that if I asked them how good their business was going, they would count the number of people that went past their shop as a measure of success? Would they say, oh yeah, we had 500,000 people walk past my door at the weekend? Or would they think about how many of those 500,000 actually stopped and walked into the shop? Or would they actually want to think about how many people walked into the shop, picked something up, took it to a till, and actually spent the money? I find it quite fascinating that in social media we can be obsessed with talking about impressions and engagements as if they derive business value from themselves. They only derive business value if they lead through to something that drives some revenue in the business. The thing that's so exciting about digital marketing and social media marketing is that we have all this data that's available to us. We can tell how many people walk past the shop. We can tell how many people dwell outside. We can tell how many people come in. We can give them a score based on how long they spend in the shop, whether they pick up something or put it down. We can even weight different products based on what kind of score we want to give them. It's not just a case of knowing that we had this many people walking past. So we have the technology today to be able to track somebody where they came from too. So it's not just the fact that 500,000 people walked past the door, it's the fact that 500,000 people arrived, but where did they come from? Did they come on train? Did they come in the car? How many people came in the car with them? Which cities around Birmingham did they travel in from? What's their demographic profile? When they arrive, what did they say? Where did they check in? What did they talk about? And ultimately we can track their destination, their journey through to the centre, through into the shop, through to what they bought, and with digital we can manage that whole pipeline. So I guess for me, the event was really insightful, some great stuff that came out of the event, but I'm still frustrated that it's October 2016 and we're still struggling to show customers ROI from social media when we have all of the tools. So everybody else just needs to catch up. at Dublin Airport. Just an amazing demonstration of a new product from IBM called WASM Analytics for social media. So when I get back to my desk, I'll show you some of the screenshots and a little bit of the video and tell you a little bit about what it does. In the agency, we use WASM Analytics quite a lot because it helps us analyze data but also predict what's going to happen. We used to live in a world of pivot tables, and that was not fun, especially when you think about all the different data points that you have to measure. Now, of course, there's a whole new data point out there, which is social conversations. So what IBM have done with WASM Analytics is they've built in a social analysis module that attaches to your WASM Analytics account. Of course, it has the usual data sources like Twitter and Facebook, but it also includes a whole host of blogs and forums. In fact, it should be crawling around 80 million different sources, so it can really give you a great ear to the web. Now, we have a lot of experience of social analytics platforms. Products like Radian6 and Brandwatch allow you to listen to the pulse of a conversation. Now, WASM Analytics for social media is slightly different. What that's designed to do is to help you take a specific time frame and analyze a conversation that's gone on. One of the key features that really stood out for me was that usually what you have to do is create a bucket for your data and then write a mix of queries that allow you to understand what's going on within the data. So you'll write one big master query, which is a big Boolean query, so a lot of if, thens, that, near, whys, that kind of stuff. So that brings in all of your data into a bucket, but then that just gives you one kind of data point. The next thing you have to do is you have to create categories and tags and then write individual queries for those. One of the brilliant things that Watson does, which is just incredible, is it uses natural language processing to allow you to literally just use normal words and say, I'm looking for this scenario and this thing. And it goes away and works out what words you mean, and it writes the query for you in the background. So you can actually add context to your searches, which I think is really powerful. So that's just a really short overview from me. I was incredibly impressed, and a huge thanks to IBM for giving me the time to see the product. And I look forward to using it to measure the impact of campaigns over the course of the rest of the year.